How's it going, class? My name is Daniel Bradley, and for this assignment I chose to read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. So the story follows a boy named Huck and his journey down the Mississippi River, right? So he learns really important lessons about morality, where he fights between what society tells him is right and what he knows is right. He also learns important lessons about friendship and the importance of loyalty, and he also learns about freedom, freedom from society and other people's opinions, right? So from a story perspective, it starts out where Huck is living with Widow Douglas and Miss Watson, who basically they try to civilize him to those times, teach him religion and manners and all these things, and he's just not having it. So he decides that he doesn't want to do that anymore, and he ends up getting kidnapped by his abusive father, his alcoholic father named Pap. And he ends up faking his own death, running away. It's this whole big thing, but he hides off on Jackson's Island where he meets a guy named Jim. And Jim is an escaped slave, and they decide to run away together on a raft down the Mississippi River. As they go on, they encounter a lot of dishonest and dangerous people. Two of those I feel like that should be noted are the con men named the Duke and the King. And these guys basically scam and manipulate all these people in different towns. And these events show Huck how cruel and hypocritical society can be. Throughout the journey, Huck develops a really good friendship with Jim. At first he sees him the way society has taught him to see him, just as a slave. But then he realizes, he's a cool dude. He's kind. He's loyal, all these things. But most importantly, he's a human. So he ends up deciding to help Jim escape, which he knows the repercussions that could happen, but he decides to follow what he knows is right and not what society tells him to do. So near the end of the story, Jim ends up getting captured, and Huck teams up with his buddy Tom Sawyer to help rescue him. And in the end, they escape, but they find out that Jim had already been freed in Miss Watson's will. So it's all, in hindsight, it was important to the story, but it was all for nothing in the end. So Huck decides that he doesn't want to return to civilized society after this. In fact, he plans to light out for the territory, which I assume means he chooses freedom. He chooses to live his own way. And overall, I feel like it's an adventure story, but it's also a very important criticism of, racism, social values of the time, and hypocrisy.